All right, welcome to the MMA Outsiders, UFC 223 post-fight show. We're gonna review the event and then go over next week's fight card, which is pretty awesome. Justin Gagey versus Dustin Poirier. AJ, yeah,
What's up?
pretty awesome, right?
This is gonna be dope. Sorry, I'm putting my guitar in my case real quick. I got a jam session at a brewery later. But first, I would like to go over the awesome fight card that we had last night, man. I mean, it was a lot of stuff happened this week. Probably the most odd fight week I've seen in a long time. Like, it was really odd, wasn't
It was stupid. It was peak MMA. It was
it?
about as MMA as MMA gets.
Dude, it's about like I was. I don't know if you ever did you watch any of like the fighters videos inside the bus when Connor was doing all that stuff?
I didn't watch the embedded, if that's what you mean.
No, it wasn't the embedded. It was like just like
Oh yeah,
Instagram.
yeah.
I think it was on Joanna's phone, and they're like, "What's going on?" And Ollie's like, "No, open the fucking door." And then you hear like, I think it was Al, like Quinta in the background going, "Hey, it's Conor McGregor." Like, it was so hilarious.
Yeah, and then I thought that would be the peak of the craziness, right?
Right.
And McGregor chucks a dolly through a bus window and like
Yeah.
enters Michael Chiesa
And Ray Borg.
and Ray Borg, and Habib just laughs basically.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know. I thought that would be the height of the craziness.
Yeah.
And then NYSAC ended up doing their own damage.
Yep.
It, incredibly stupid. I wrote a really angry, just annoyed column about them. But
Yes.
yeah, pulling Max Holloway from the card when he was like 3 pounds away from making weight was just
Yeah. What was the deal with that? Because I didn't understand that either. They said no for some reason.
According to George Lockhart, they looked at the numbers and just decided, just on principle, that he shouldn't be making this weight cut. But and also, I guess, by looking at him, but also, I didn't get there's no confirmation of this, but they didn't get a doctor to make that decision. Evidently, that's what a reporter said. He's like, they just basically looked at him and were like, no, and stopped the weight cut. It's just incredibly dumb.
Dude, that was very frustrating. And the thing is, either way, it was a great main event, and I love Raging Al. That was, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better replacement. But yeah, I mean, you have somebody that's going in on, what was it, 6 days notice, 5 days notice, something like that.
Ally Quinton?
No. Max.
Oh, Max was 6 days notice.
6 days notice. All right, so professional fighter walks around, what, 170, 165?
He was above 170.
Okay, dude, that's not even 20 pounds he has to cut. There's no way he would like to make a decision like that is really sketchy, because if anybody knows anything about weight cutting, 15 pounds isn't that much. 10 pounds or 5 pounds of water, 5 to 10 pounds of water. Some of these guys cutting, 20, 30, 40 pounds, that's a little different. But 15 pounds, he would be super emaciated from 15 pounds if he walks around at 170.
Well, he started at high 170s, like I think 178.
Okay.
But
even so, though.
Yeah, I mean, apparently he lost a little bit of weight on the flight over.
Yeah.
On a very long flight from Hawaii to New York.
Yeah.
So, like George Lockhart was kind of saying like, oh, this is tied for the biggest weight cut I've ever done, and then he's like, no, I take it back. Once he made the flight, he lost a lot of weight on the flight, and he was cutting all week.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be pacing himself.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I'm not a fan of weight cutting in general.
Yeah.
But this was his chance to make history when.
Right.
So I mean, who knows if he would have done it? That Habib was out with the favorite for a reason.
Sure.
But we didn't get a chance to see that fight, which I'm not upset. I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, it was.
So
very
how the fight played out, right? So
yes.
Let's talk about that. What did you think of Habib's performance? Did you listen to it with commentary on?
Yeah, I did, and I think we talked about it a little bit. when the third round hits, Al has survived the mauling.
He had two 10-8 rounds. He's down 4
Yes.
points. There's basically zero way you make that up on the scorecard
Right.
unless you get it finished.
Yes. So the third round, you see Khabib starting to strike a little bit, and he's popping that jab. Nice jab, everything. Looked pretty good. And then the commentary guys were like, oh, man, he's just he's starting to get tired. Oh, all he's doing is jabbing. He's not really putting all these things together. He's not really – man, there's a lot of holes in Khabib's game. And it's just like –
Khabib had already won the fight.
Yeah, like I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? He's not. Nobody said he was a boxer. Like nobody said that
also,
he was.
He won.
Yeah, not
won
only did he win, he dominated the performance under the stipulations of mixed martial arts rules. Shut the fuck up about his striking performance. It doesn't fucking matter. He won the fight. He won the championship, and that's what he had to do. Not only did he just win it, but like I said, he dominated. And he dominated in a way that he was able to. Sorry, my niece is coming in the door. Not only did he dominated in a way that not a lot of people can. And his grappling is on such another level that even if his striking is not up to his elite grappling skills, he's still able to hold his own on the feet. He goes to a place. He trains at a place called American Kickboxing Academy and spars regularly with top athletes, championship level athletes. And these guys on commentary are going to say, "Well, these holes in his game, dude. Everybody's got holes. Everybody's got something that they're not the strongest at. But it doesn't mean that he's not outstriking people. He has. He got caught by Michael Johnson one time. His record speaks for itself. Whatever.
He's never been knocked down.
Been knocked down.
Here's the thing about his striking. Al was very hesitant to go after him because he knew, like, the moment Khabib grabs a hold of you, the whole dynamic of the fight changes. I mean, he had no trouble taking down a wrestler Al Iaquinta.
Yes.
Yes. He made it look easy.
And to take it back to the Barboza fight, I don't mean to sidetrack, but hearing reports of, watching him take Barboza down those few times. Apparently he's really, really hard to take down. Like, it's not like he's just this dynamic striker. He's really hard to take down. Al Iaquinta is under the tutelage of Matt Serra on the ground. So, and he's trains with guys like Weidman, Gian Viante, all these guys at the Longo Serra.
Yeah, Serra Longo's is a very respected gym in Long Island. And he trains with a lot of really good wrestlers.
Yeah. So you see, it's his level of grappling is just.
Does this fight change the way you view his matchups with Conor McGregor or Tony Ferguson?
Absolutely not, because everybody knows what he's going to do. It's nothing new. It's kind of like George St. Pierre. All right, so he had his two strong moves in his fights whenever he started training. I don't know if it was when he started training for us, but I remember he started doing a lot more point fighting, a little less risky, not really doing a lot of finishes. But for the longest time there, everybody knew what he was going to do. He was going to jab and shoot, jab and shoot, jab and shoot, jab and shoot, right?
Yeah. Those are two.
Yeah, so it's kind of like Khabib. Okay, yeah, you saw Al stuff a couple takedowns against the cage, but what happens? Khabib puts his hands together, trips him over, picks him up, slams him, grabbed onto the ankle, and would not let it go. He's going to get you down. He's going to figure it out, and he's not. He doesn't. It doesn't matter if you stuff the first 3 takedowns. If he gets that 4th one, you're not getting up. Very unlikely that you're getting up, and we saw how he mauls. Unless he chooses to stand on his feet, unless he chooses to stay on the feet, I don't see Conor beating him. Tony would probably have a better chance, but even so, man, like when people try to put this together, they try to figure out who has the better grappling, or who has the better this, who has the better that. But I don't think, you talk about Tony's guard game and his jiu-jitsu game from the back. Yeah, fuck that. Khabib's top game.
Yeah, it's not going to matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Khabib's top game is if not better, well world class level.
When people talk about like oh such and such, they have a good guard, you can
Yeah.
generally disregard that in MMA as a form
Sure.
of analysis, just because. And Rogan is guilty of this. And we talked about the commentary,
Sure.
but Rogan is always like, "Oh, look at his guard." It rarely matters. It's a very low
Really.
percentage that someone will finish a top control artist from the guard. It's rare.
Hmm.
It happens, but it's very rare. Not a reliable strategy. It's not a good countermeasure to a good wrestler.
You would
That's not
see
how
that
MMA works anymore.
you would see that more in like lower level fights or lower level promotions. You're not going to see that at top level UFC fights.
Yeah, exactly. Especially
Those
not
guys are
grappler with the bona fides of Habib Nurmagomedov.
sure. Yeah, absolutely. Not to sidetrack, but when I watched Andrew Richardson's fight, when he got to mount, the guy was still holding onto his head. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
This guy's fucked. I was like, he's in straight survival mode right now. He's not even thinking. He's just like, you know.
Shout out to MMA Mania's own resident analyst, Andrew Richardson, for winning his pro debut last weekend.
Congratulations, man.
But
yeah.
I mean, so the one thing that I saw, or him choosing to stand and use his jab, which again, he won pretty much every second of the fight.
Yeah.
Al landed a couple shots,
Yeah.
but none of them even seemed to shake him.
Yeah.
So I think Habib has a pretty good chin. Like, yeah, I guess he holds it kind of high.
Yeah.
But his defense is generally sound, and
Yeah.
the only, like, maybe he took a round, maybe it was in his plan to take a round off against Ferguson to begin with, to kind of save energy, because you can't always wrestle for 5 rounds straight.
Sure.
So I guess that remains a question, but I mean, when he wanted to wrestle, you know, in the end, he could as well. He got the takedown. So
yes,
I mean,
and
certainly, like,
you know, like,
he looked competent enough against Al, especially with the threat of that takedown, where unless, you know, someone like Tony Ferguson or Conor McGregor were just completely unfazed by the threat and just came after him, and were able to start putting combinations together without him grabbing hold of them, then it's not going to matter, you know?
Well, I think Tony, you know, I think Tony could outstrike Khabib definitely. I think Conor definitely outstrikes Khabib, but it doesn't matter. This is not a kickboxing match. This is not a boxing match. This is an MMA fight, and everything goes from ground to striking. And if Khabib wants it on the ground, it's going to go on the ground. It doesn't matter. So it's kind of a moot point whether or not. I mean, Khabib's striking could have looked like shit last night. But he had a great jab. He kept distance well. He dodged a lot of Al's punches. Dude, you're gonna get tired in a fight. You're gonna mess up a little bit, and you know what I mean. Like, anybody that's ever sparred knows that, like, at some point your defense is not going to be as much as it was at the very beginning of the fight. Especially after mauling somebody for 2 rounds, you know, 2 5-minute rounds.
Well, that's the other thing too. I mean, like, I feel like Al, when you look at the way he approached that 3rd round, I feel like his legs were pretty tired.
Oh yeah,
because he wasn't covering distance like he typically does. He wasn't moving as well as he was in the beginning.
Right.
And he kind of got that back the longer the fight was on the feet. But
yeah,
I mean, that's going to slow you down too. If you're trying to get up and someone's just hanging on you, and not letting you stand,
especially from the back, you know, or from the bottom, man, like, that is, you just get worn out trying to get up and trying to survive getting choked out by one of the top grapplers in the world.
Credit to Al. Credit
for
surviving those spots.
Tough guy.
Because he's gotten caught in those positions before earlier in his career. He's clearly really worked on his rear naked choke defense and really worked on his submission awareness.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
So what do you want to see? What do you want to see next from Habib? He called out George St. Pierre. What?
Awesome.
You didn't see that after the fight?
I didn't watch the post press conference.
No, it was right in the interview.
Oh yeah. That's right. Sorry, it was late night last night. Yeah, man, that's kind of strange. I mean,
it's not strange if you think about it. George St. Pierre is the only other money fight out there besides Conor McGregor.
Well, I would love to see it. but I would rather see. I want to see the Tony fight. I mean, I don't really care to see for St. Pierre. I want to see Tony. I want to see Tony Khabib for the 5th time. I'm assuming that. I don't know if it's like what the deal is with the universe in this fight, but
Well, I mean, what they did here was they had a bunch of top lightweights also on the card, which ended up like you ended up going with your 1, 2, 3, 4th choice in Al Quinta.
Yeah.
After Anthony Pettis was, I guess Anthony Pettis was an option, but after he asked for more money. Ed Paul Felder was supposed not ranked to the NYSAC. He ruled him out. Max out, obviously. And then of course Tony started the whole thing off.
Hey, let me ask you this. Paul Felder wasn't ranked, but do you remember when Henan Barral fell and hit his head, and they had to have like a last-minute replacement for T.J. Dillashaw?
Yeah,
and it was Joe Soto.
Yes.
He wasn't ranked, was he?
Well, exactly. It's just the NYSAC, the New York State Athletic Commission.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They don't understand how the sport works.
Yeah.
They don't have people running the commission who have experience in mixed martial arts or I think in boxing.
Okay, that makes sense then. Because I was thinking about it, I was like, what does that got to do with anything? He's ranked or not?
They have a lot of blood on their hands for things that their referees.
I see.
And referees that are still active for them in boxing. The MMA fighters hate them. Just ask Jim Miller. They tried to block his fight with Anthony Pettis after they suspended him without telling him they suspended him. And his fight with Anthony Pettis was in Vegas, I do believe.
Wow. Okay.
So they're wildly incompetent.
Right. Yeah. And kind of crooked from what I understand.
But yeah, I would love to see the St. Pierre fight, but I don't think St. Pierre's about that fight unless it comes out that Khabib is a pay-per-view draw. Like if this pay-per-view is a massive success, I do think. Yeah. Or he should be. Like Khabib has all the elements you would expect someone to.
Before we get too crazy and we leave the lightweight division, staying kind of on topic with the UFC and Conor. Did you see there was a boxing match last night and Floyd was being interviewed about his enjoyment in retirement. Did you see any highlights from that, from Floyd Mayweather?
No, I intentionally ignore everything Floyd says. But he did say one thing that I think you're going to talk about.
It was about him. If he returns from retirement, it's going to have to be in the octagon, correct? Did you read about that?
Yeah, I saw the headline. I don't click on those articles at this point unless I have to.
Yeah, so supposedly he's like, we got to reach a deal with Dana White, Showtime. He said talk to Al Heyman. Al Heyman said no, but he said could be against Conor McGregor, it could be this, could be that. So the fact that he's talking about it is good to me. I don't really care if he enters or not, but I mean, there's a lot of people that would love to see that, and the kind of press that it would get. I don't know if I kind of don't want to see the stupid. But man, do you remember when they were about to fight? Everybody in boxing and the whole entire world would just talk and mad. It was just continuous, like, oh, he's gonna get eaten alive. I'm gonna tie both my hands behind my back, polymental analogy, blah blah blah. I'm just tired of all that shit talk between the fans more so. But I would like to see how Floyd adapts. I would like to see if they get him a good fight, what it would look like. Because we saw kind of what it looked like with James Toney, but that was a 40-year-old James Toney against Randy Couture. I
don't want to see that. What it would look like is him getting taken down and choked out very easily.
Yeah.
What's kind of mildly interesting is seeing him kickbox with small gloves, I guess.
Yeah.
It's striking in an extended rule set, but he's not gonna.
It's so different. It's so different the way boxing works, man. Because it's like you years ago, you were well versed in both boxing and wrestling. A lot of guys were, like Jack Dempsey was a good example, and you nowadays, boxing has adapted to its specific sport in a lot of ways. People change their stances. People throw differently. People move
Even back
differently
then.
for their sport specifically. So you get so used to, the big gloves, not having to worry about either getting kicked in the head, obviously, because it's not a legal move, or getting taken down. You move certain ways that might not be applicable to moving to MMA. And a good example of that, getting back to that muscle memory, would be Heather Hardy when she got kicked in the head a couple fights ago. She started getting back to her muscle memory of bobbing and weaving. Boom, got nailed right in the head with the roundhouse. So, it's kind of questionable what might happen depending on the fight, depending on the person they put them up against. But in the UFC, that's tough, man, because everybody in the UFC is world class. Everybody that's in the UFC from bottom to top is very
except
good.
Except for CM Punk.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy. Well, yeah, he's gonna fight some guy. I can't remember who it was.
But he's gonna fight Mike the Truth Jackson from Houston. He's gonna.
Good luck with that. All right. Anyway, yeah. So moving on. What'd you think about Rose and Joanna?
Well, first of all, I want to mention the Mayweather quote that you didn't mention.
Okay.
And then I want to talk about what Khabib said in his post-fight interview. We should have a second.
Go ahead.
Just like the things people say.
Okay.
That are So Mayweather said about McGregor, I feel that when you have reached such high status, you have to carry yourself in a classy way. Outside the ring, you have to carry yourself as a gentleman. Yeah.
All right, Khabib.
Yeah, there's some people that just can't talk about that kind of thing, and Mayweather's top of that list. Carrying yourself.
Yeah. Oh, so Mayweather said that, not Khabib.
Yeah, Mayweather said that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, because I was going to say Khabib. If Khabib said that, I was about to bring up all his brawls on the outside with the Diaz brothers.
No. Mayweather said that.
Well, that's even more ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it's way more ridiculous. What Khabib said, you remember that part of his post-fight interview that was entirely in Russian and he refused to translate it?
Yeah. So
what he said was he was making a defense of the arrested corrupt oligarch Zayevudin Magomedov, who was arrested last week on embezzlement and organized crime charges. Wow, he said, and I quote, "Our elder brother is a co-owner of our team. Zayevudin Magomedov is in a difficult situation. He was very helpful to me and other athletes from Russia, and now he has problems, but I want him to know that we, the athletes, are praying for him. I believe this situation will soon be resolved. I hope that our leader, Vladimir Putin, will help him. I want to congratulate him on the victory in the last election."
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, Russian politics, obviously not a pretty sight. But yeah, so that's what Khabib said in Russian, and that's one of the phrases that just make you
Yeah, that is kind of strange. Well, it's a different. What I like to call Russia, and I'm not saying anything bad on people's politics or anything in America, but it's been noted by certain people of the conservative paradise Russia is. It's very religious. They got certain policies that would really tickle the fancy of a lot of conservative leanings over here. So it's a very different area from what I understand, very different mentality. So when you see people like Khabib, saying these things, congratulate. I always wonder what goes on culturally, because they're very hard people. You know what I mean? They're very tough. They're very, not just Russia, but the foremost those areas like Ukraine, Soviet. They're very, very strong-willed, I guess you could say.
Okay.
So I've always wondered what goes on in their heads, you know what I mean? What they think about certain policies, what people think about certain ways people do things, way Vladimir Putin handles certain things. There's been a lot of scandals with him supposedly killing people. Um, I always wonder those things. Always wonder how people think, not just in the elite, but how people think, like in the community, like their mentality. I don't know, because they're obviously it's just a little bit different than what we think, right? Maybe just a little bit.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I'm just always curious. Like, man, I was trying to get in the heads of some people like that, and what the way they think, you know. Anyways, whatever. All right.
But yeah, I don't know, man. You're right. It's a whole different world,
Yeah.
and it rewards different things.
Yeah.
And I'll say this: I put less blame on Habib than I do um, someone like Fabrice Verdum, who didn't grow up in that world, doesn't need to
Mm-hmm.
to please some dictator who sponsors him financially, but he does anyway,
Sure.
and he goes out of
Yeah.
his way to rep them. Um,
Yeah.
I
Sure.
mean, the politics are very serious, man. Like mixed martial arts fighters have been killed.
Yeah.
You know, they don't take that shit lightly. So for Habib, who lives in that world, I don't blame him nearly as much as I blame someone who voluntarily reps a genocidal dictator.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
something
Yeah.
like that.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
But yeah, so on to the co-main event. What did you think of Rose Namajunas? How happy were you?
Dude. Okay. So, I knew I had a feeling this was going to go the distance. I didn't think that it was going to be as quick as last time. But man, if she didn't solidify her championship status last fight, she sure as hell did this fight. Her striking game, her boxing, like her head movement, everything. Now Joanna, man, I mean Joanna's a beast too. You could tell, you could tell her experience whenever the later rounds started going. She started getting a little bit more comfortable, landing those leg kicks, slowing Rose down a little bit.
Yeah,
But
I thought she was going to win actually after the fourth round. I had it.
I didn't. I thought she won. I thought she won the third and fourth. The fifth round could have went either way, but when Rose scored that takedown at the end, I was like, all right, well, the judges will probably see it.
Well, I'm saying the momentum was swinging her way, and then Rose
Right.
came out and just she first of all she connected on like several hard shots, just clocked her.
Right.
And then yeah, I don't think the takedown made a lot of difference, at least not in my mind.
No.
But it did. I guess it kind of shut down whatever Joanna was going to try to put together at the end. But yeah, I mean,
dude, Joanna, you could tell how strong she was too. I mean, you could tell like when they would clinch up, man. That little bit of space, Rose had, man, those knees. I was just like, oh, this is holding my
Rose
stomach.
could have very easily lost that fight if she had kept taking the clinch.
Oh yeah, it was brutal.
I almost expected Joanna to start looking for it, and she didn't. She just.
I think she might have been afraid of, because Rose does some really weird shit with her submissions. I think she probably just wanted to be safe about certain things.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But I mean, like, I feel like that was an overlooked opportunity at the same time, because when they did get to the clinch, it was Joanna who was landing the knees, and we've seen what those can do over the course of time. Like, that's
I think for this fight, Rose did enough to win, but you can also tell like there's a different skill level, like experience-wise, striking between the two. Like Joanna looked, you can tell like she's been doing it for a long time. But Rose, man.
But I was very impressed with Rose's head movement.
Dude, her head movement, her box. Well, Trevor Whitman's supposedly a really great coach. He's a really great boxing, striking coach. Very unorthodox kind of guy. There's a story, because he's kind of crazy, but there was a story when George St. Pierre used to train at Grudge when like Shane Carwin was there, and he'd go in and I think he was preparing for a fight, and Trevor's like, all right, you're gonna spar Shane next, like to George St. Pierre, and George is like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm not sparring him. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, so it's a crazy guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't want to see them fight a third time immediately. I would like to see Joanna go up to 125.
I think that's the call, man. I really do, because
it was really clear. I think that I think her weight cutting was affecting her chin. I think the dehydration was affecting her chin, because she took some shots in this one. She didn't look bothered, and and it's because she managed to wake up better. Shout out to friend of the podcast, Phil DeRue, her strength and conditioning coach, who helped her put on muscle and still manage a better weight cut than last time. But I do think 125 would be a better weight class for her. I mean, like she clearly could put on weight without any trouble.
Yeah.
And then we get to see her against Valentina Shevchenko.
Ooh, that'd be awesome. Again, the rematch.
Rematch from their Muay Thai days.
Yes.
Jacek Shevchenko 4. That's
yes. There you go.
Jessica Andrade is waiting in the wings, and that fight would be really compelling. Because Namajunas obviously has power and boxing, but Andrade has that. I mean, she takes flush shots and like nothing ever seems to bother her.
It's tenacious.
It keeps coming. Yeah. That combination of strength and conditioning. That's the fight I want to see next for Rose.
Yeah.
And this fight, the fact that she went 5 rounds pretty easily.
Yeah.
And still had gas in the 5th round. I'm excited for that fight.
For sure. Yeah. And you know what's crazy is I thought that this fight was a lot more exciting than the main event. I think a lot of people did too. Even obviously Nate Diaz on Twitter put an emoji of him snoring and then a gun next to his head. It's like,
of course, he's going to be talking shit. But does he want to get in there with Khabib Nurmagomedov?
I think he wouldn't give a shit. I think he's like whatever. Like I think he would, but I don't think he's gonna settle for a certain price after those Conor fights. He's not settling for anything. I don't think he's like fuck up.
Yeah, he's gonna sit. He's gonna sit out. He's gonna wait however many years it takes until he gets the Conor McGregor rematch, which he will eventually get. I do believe.
Sure.
But yeah, so in terms of exciting fights, though, Zabit Magomedsharipov versus Kyle Bochniak. That was
great fight.
The best fight of the card, and it was the fight of the night.
Yeah, it was a great fight. I think the commentators were enjoying it a little bit more than I think everybody else in the world. But yeah, no, it was a great fight. You're correct.
Yeah. Now, first to set the stage, I'm a huge Zabit Magomedsharipov fan. I really want to see him get to the top and fight Max Holloway because I think that matchup is really interesting. But yeah, I gotta admit, man, the commentators were going a little crazy for Zabit.
They're just like, "Whoa! it was almost like I've never seen that before." And all he did was he stepped to the side or some shit like that. You're just like, "What? What do you mean?"
He had some sweet moments, man.
Dude, he did. He really did. I'm not saying he didn't. All I'm saying is it was almost like the producers like really pump this guy up, Dagestan's own. You know? Yeah. But I just was listening. I'm like, what? Like he did he stood on his hand and did like it was like a, I don't know what you call it. It was a cartwheel kick. There you go. And they're like, whoa, Saenchai. And I was like, I didn't even think it landed, but it was just the way they reacted instead of just being like, oh, cartwheel kick. Oh wow, what if that land? No, it was like, whoa. It was almost epic for them, but whatever. I mean, I'm sure it probably looked pretty cool.
What was the moment when they were talking about? I think they were talking about. I forget what technique they were talking about, like body shots or knees or something. And John Anik, because Joe Rogan's like, you don't eat too many of those, and John Anik's like, yeah, they don't taste.
They don't taste good. Yeah, those knees. Yeah, they don't taste good. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, dude.
Like John Anik, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, dude.
That was great.
Like the commentary was. Who was the other guy? Who was also on commentary that night?
Jimmy Smith.
That's right, Jimmy Smith.
He was great. He was good. I think he was reading Joe Rogan's like tendencies to some degree, but
yeah. Well, he might be I'm sure Joe's out the door at some point, man. He don't want to do this forever.
You think so?
Oh yeah, he's talked about it. He almost left a couple of years ago, but he
always talks about it, but he's still here. And
he's still there, but he doesn't do international fights anymore. He doesn't do he always stays in the States.
Well, most of their big cards are in the United States, though, so that's not an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he just doesn't want to fly out of the country. But you know what? Hats off to
to beat Megan Sharapov.
Dude, I usually pick the guy with like the least number of syllables, like every time.
Well, you would have picked wrong in this fight. I mean, but shout out to Kyle Bochniak for just being tough as hell.
Yeah, but that's pushing it too, man. I was about to do it. I was about to do it's about to be a no contest on my end because there's too many syllables going on in his last fucking names, dude. As Bosniak's, he's cutting it real close for me not to give a shit about saying his name. Anyways.
So, man, I mean, there was some other stuff that happened on the card. Joe Lozon got stopped.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to pronounce that guy's name.
Oh, yeah. Mercy. No, well, it was Dunham. I can't remember that other guy's name.
But yeah, so, I mean, we've got next weekend, we've got some exciting fights coming up. So it was nice to have a break. Came back 100% crazy. And now we get to see Justin Gaethje versus Dustin Poirier. We get to see Carlos Condit in the co-main event, which should be interesting. Not as I was hoping for the Matt Brown fight, but that seems to be another one of these fights that might be cursed.
Yes.
It's just too good to happen.
Right.
And then we've got the style bender, Israel Adesanya, making his sophomore effort, and then Michelle Watterson in the opening. So it's a really good fight card.
Not to mention the best fighter in the world before that, in my opinion.
Who would that be, AJ?
Tim Boetsch.
Oh, right, Tim the Barbarian Boetsch. How could I overlook
the man? Seriously though, like no disrespect, I love Tim Boetsch. He's like I'm a big fan.
Tim Boetsch is pretty awesome.
He's so scary. Like, but damn, he's just a beast, dude. He's like a lumberjack. I don't know. Anyways, I got this thing for people that kind of remind me of myself when I go chop wood or something together, some shit like that. Anyways.
So, who are you picking between Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier?
I'm gonna go with Poirier this time. I think Gaethje. You know, Gaethje is a very, very talented fighter, but I think he relies too much on his chin, and it's gonna affect him at some point. I mean, Chuck Liddell did the same thing, and it just stopped working after a while. But he does bring exciting fights, and that's what everybody wants to see, and he doesn't care about brain damage, which is okay, fine. But tactically, I think Dustin Poirier can take this.
So this is an interesting one for me because they both said that, like both fighters have said, Dustin Poirier said that he's more technical. Well, I don't know if he said that, but I'm sure he thinks that. And Justin Gaethje has also said, yeah, Poirier is probably more technical than me.
Yeah.
But what makes it interesting to me is the footwork, because Gaethje is very consistent with his footwork. Yeah. He knows what his goal is always in mind, and he's always pushing forward. And he's pretty good at cutting off the cage and using his tools to get the fight where he wants to.
Right.
And Dustin Poirier, on the other hand, he can do more things. He has a better, maybe, I guess, range game, range striking, but I often wonder, he's not consistent with his goals. He's not always going one direction.
Yeah, exactly.
With his footwork, like sometimes he's pushing forward, sometimes he's getting pushed back, and he's better going forward. But yeah, so I'm curious how that's going to play out. I think what's going to happen is that Gaethje is going to get the fight he wants.
Sure. Yeah.
And in that fight, I still don't know who to pick because Poirier hits really hard, and he's tough as nails. And he's got a lot of tools. So I'm rooting for Gaethje just because I love Justin Gaethje, man. Like I want to see him make it as far as he can because he's nonstop exciting. But then again, so is Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
So I mean, like this is just a can't lose fight unless something really weird happens, like a no contest in the first round.
Yeah, that would be for sure.
But like pretty much, there's no way this fight isn't awesome. And then Israel Adesanya in the third fight on the card. I'm happy he's getting a main card slot because he's awesome too.
Yes.
Israel Adesanya is like one of the most decorated kickboxers ever to enter the octagon. Talking about Zabit Magomedsharipov, they kind of remind me of each other in a way because
Mm-hmm.
they're so composed in the face of guys just winging bombs at them. Like
Yeah.
they barely have to move their head. Zabit, I think, actually gets hit a little more than Adesanya does.
Yeah.
Adesanya is, I think, a better striker, but he has that similar, just incredible composure.
Right.
And then I think his striking is perfect for MMA.
Yes. Yes.
There's a lot of spectacular stuff, as well as just the fundamentals just really well.
Yeah.
And I think the small gloves suit him, suit his
Yeah.
style. So I'm very excited to see where he can go. I'd love to see him get his way to the top. A lot of it depends, I think, on how his grappling and wrestling comes along.
Mm-hmm.
But so far so good. He didn't look perfect in his first fight, but he obviously has a lot of tools on the ground and in the clinch that he can use. So I'm excited for that one. So yeah, man, it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be a good week next week. All right.
Knowing our luck, injuries going to strike all of those fighters down. Now that we're talking.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Eddie Alvarez doesn't decide to fucking take some baseball bats to people randomly.
So speaking of Eddie Alvarez, I think that probably would be the best, most likely next fight for Khabib if Khabib wanted to get right back into it.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see
because Tony's injured.
Yep.
George St. Pierre doesn't seem really interested in that fight. McGregor, who knows what's going on with him? But I feel like he's going to need more than. I mean, like if he came back right away, McGregor versus Khabib would be awesome. But he's got his jail time and like I guess he flew off. And
that dude's not going to jail. He's probably not even going to go to his fucking court date. You can't
that's
do
probably
anything
true.
about that.
He's fine.
He's going to stay in Ireland. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing. McGregor lives in the world where he's made $100 million, so it's a whole nother realm.
What are they going to do? Put him on community service, and he's going to have to fly every week to go fucking pick up garbage on the streets? Like, come on, he's not going to do that.
Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. He paid his like $50,000 bail or whatever slap on the wrist fine they made him pay.
That's crazy. Oh, so let me ask you this. Well, I guess if you don't have anything else, so this is the last thing I got. But at the UFC 25-year press conference, they had Stipe and Daniel Cormier, and one of the reporters asked about Brock coming back, and they said, "What was it likely for him to fight the winner of Stipe and Daniel?" And then Dana White said, "It's likely." What do you think about that?
Well, he said it's happening, but the issue is, and I don't doubt that Brock wants it, and they're going to make it happen, but he's got to serve out the rest of his suspension.
But isn't that annoying that he can just come back with a title shot?
Well, yeah, but in a way, it's very annoying. But he does have to serve out the rest of his suspension. It's like 6 months, so who knows? But I mean, is it annoying? Yes, but who else really? AJ, who would you rather see? You want to see Volt?
John Jones.
Well, John Jones is also out, but I'm saying like we're over Brock Lesnar. Who are you trying to watch fight for the UFC title?
Big Nog. No. No, not Volkan. Hell no. Yeah, that's a good point. I guess.
There's a few guys working their way up the ranks, but I feel like they need a little more time. So I'm not mad if Brock.
Gustafsson is what I would want to see. That would be pretty cool. Gustafsson, that'd be pretty dope.
Moving up to heavyweight.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Got to take care of Rockhold moving up to light heavyweight first.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. That's gonna be dope.
That will be actually a pretty awesome fight.
Oh man, that's gonna be awesome. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So. Dustin Gagey, Dustin Poirier. Yeah, we'll be back to talk about that one after it happens next weekend. But for now, that's it for the MMA Outsiders. AJ, where can people find you?
Instagram, AJ Herrick, AJAYHERRICK. Twitter, the same. Although lately I haven't really been on social media too much, so you might have a better chance of getting to me via Telegram or Pony Express. Yeah, the Instagram actually is the best way to get me.
AJ's in the mountains of he's in the mountains basically.
Yeah, I'm in the mountains. I'm
When he's
escaped civilization, chopping down trees, hunting my meat with traps, and restoring axes.
Hey, I mean, it's a life.
It
You can
is.
find me on Twitter and Facebook at Vorpality, VORPALITY. And that's it.
All right.
Have a great
See you
Sunday,
guys.
everyone.